Could it be? Could it be? Yes, it could be. Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a fairly rare Packard Bell that I have recently acquired from roadgeek himself. He even left some signatures on the top. This is a Packard Bell Legend 822 CDT. Those of you who've watched roadgeek know that's a very sentimental computer to him. This isn't exactly what he had as a kid, but it's the version of it that I prefer, actually. It is the Packard Bell Legend 822 that has what is called the Hillary board in it, which is a socket 5 Pentium board in it. It has a Pentium 100 in it, just like the other model, or the other board does. And from what I understand, the Hillary motherboard is a little bit more friendly with drives and things like that, so it's generally the better motherboard to have, technically speaking. But nostalgically speaking, for roadgeek, it's the wrong motherboard. But for me, that's an advantage, so I decided to plunk down some money and buy it from him because he had to get rid of a few computers. So I decided to take this one off of his hands because I'm trying to get. I want at least 2 Pentiums around, and it's really hard to find them in my area. Actually, vintage computers where I live, I really have no choice but to use eBay and maybe go to a yard sale, but I have really not seen any at yard sales and estate sales here either. It's mostly audio gear, actually, that's the good stuff there, which personally I haven't gone for, but I've seen it. So yeah, the Packard Bell Legend 822 CDT. He sent this to me, left his autographs on it. There he is. There is a very interestingly drawn Carolina Circle Mall logo. These are written on in for those of you who are purists, this is just marker. So this can come off with Goo Gone if it's really that much of an issue, but I don't plan on doing that. With this, I was also sent a KVM switch that he wasn't using, I guess, along with some cables that go along with it, and a Microsoft mouse without the scroll wheel. So now I have one of these, which I'll probably put on my 486, actually. Sorry about that, my camera's batteries died, so I replaced them, and here we are again. So, as I was saying, KVM switch, cables for it, which I actually need to get more. I need another set of cables for, I think, A or B, one of the two. Anyhow, I have one cable, but I need to get another. So then we have this mouse, which, as I was saying before, which I'll probably be using on the 486, if anything else, because a mouse this old is perfectly fit for that, because you're not going to do much scrolling in Windows 3.1 and DOS, so. There you go. He also sent some funny things. You AMD? In here is an assortment of AMD processors. An Athlon 64X2 and a Phenom, which will definitely come in handy. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I'll probably be using the Phenom in at least one machine. So there you have it. This KVM, from what I understand, was donated to him by somebody else, or he bought it, or whatever happened. I think it was donated, and he's passing it on to me since he wanted me to be able to experience multiple vintage computers at the same time. And I've been looking for a vintage KVM switch for a while, so much appreciated, dude. I like that I have this. Makes me happy. Also, remember, do not wet. Yes. There's your KVM. It's as simple as of a KVM switch as you can get. I did have to do some surgery and swap out some screws and move some stuff around. Get a nut that was rattling around inside, resituated, but everything is nothing rattling anymore. It's all good now. So, the 822. How about that? I've been wondering what one of these look like in person for a long time, and I have to say, it's a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but it's pretty wide. I mean, this is my hand on it. It's a pretty wide case. The machine comes apart in a very unorthodox way that I'm not a huge fan of. We'll get to that in a bit. Here's the back of the machine. There's the spot for the, I think it's a baby AT power supply, or an AT power, probably baby AT power supply at this point. There's the back label. Sorry for that glare there. Model A940-TWRA. There's its FCC ID as well. It's FOD 52 or 59. I can't even tell. I'm gonna guess that's 50. FOD 590 TWR, I think is what that says. It might be 520 or 920. I can't even read it that well. Legend 822 CDTWs on the label on the back there. Here's your I/O. I'm guessing there used to be something there, but it was taken out at some point in its life. You got a serial port, you got parallel, PS2, and VGA. That's it. 1995 was a simple time. There are some added benefits, though, with all these expansion slots. As you can see, they're oriented sideways. Some computer manufacturers back then did this, and I really wish they didn't. Essentially, this is a similar motherboard that could be used in a desktop model, like a 3x3 or a 4x4. But all they did was just take that board, turn it on its side, and put it in a mid-tower case. Sorry about that. And I believe what they did is they used a riser card to orient these slots sideways, which to me is just a bit of a weird design. I kind of wish it was just ATX or just regular AT or baby AT or something like that instead of this cockamamie design. But you know, it's still a good computer despite that. It's just a form. This is kind of why I prefer white box computers of the 90s compared to OEMs, because things are a little bit more standard than this. But that doesn't stop this from being a good and useful machine. So, you know, I'm not going to turn it down, because in my area, you're not going to find Pentiums here anymore. Not a chance. So, what does this have in it for card slots? You have a sound card. It's the good Packard Bell sound card that uses the Sound Blaster Pro, audio hardware, which tends to do well with DOS games and MIDI. I think there's some Packard Bell cards that are terrible with it, but generally this is just like a Sound Blaster Pro. It'll sound just like it, and it'll work great. I've used one similar to that in my Legend 3540 that I also bought from Roadgeek, and it works great. I haven't had any issues with it. It's just as good as using a Sound Blaster 16, it seems. And here we have a CF card adapter. Of course, this machine's storage has been converted to solid state. It has a 2 GB card in it, which has an operating system on it, Windows 95 it looks like. And supposedly he's installed some stuff that's going to make me laugh, so we're definitely going to have to boot this up and take a look at it. But I thought I'd give you a nice overview of the case. Looks pretty clean. There's some scratches and junk on this side, but who cares? You're not going to see that when it's underneath. So, okay, there's one thing I wanted to mention about this case, and that is the way you open the side panel. It's a non-conventional way that I find extremely annoying, so let's see if I can show this to you. The first requirement is you have to put this case on its side. You cannot leave it standing up. You have to put it on its side. Reason being that the screws that hold this panel on are here, 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 and here. You take those screws out, you pull the panel down, and then you can lift it off and lift it out. I think, or back, or wherever it goes. I think you can just take it out at that point. And that I find annoying, because if you're going to put this under a desk and you just want to quickly, if you need to quickly diagnose something, you have to turn it sideways. I mean, that's not a huge deal, but again, ATX and Baby AT and other form factors that were standard at the time didn't necessarily have cases that did that. I mean, there was the swinging power supply right there, but I've never seen a standardized form factor case that has that sort of design. I mean, they could have well have existed. I mean, some of you that were building computers in the 90s could probably tell me, but I've never seen that before. I've never seen this before on anything with this Packard Bell here. And I just find that design extremely annoying, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a good machine. But otherwise, the bottom is made of solid steel. Roadgeek's other Packard Bell fell on an HP power supply and crushed it, and I can definitely see why. This steel is really thick and really rugged. Computers in the 90s didn't screw around. Like, they were really built well back then. And it was obvious from the get-go that you were getting a machine that was designed not to be killed very easily. And since these are working 20 years later, I mean, what does that say about these things? There you go. I'm not going to open this thing up. I mean, it's. I've looked inside. There's nothing special in there. There is a hard drive that was left in there by roadgeek, which is good because that's exactly how I convert my machines to solid state. I actually leave the original drive in there and just plug the cable into the solid state stuff. So if I have to revert to the hard drive, it's easy. I can just plug it into the other thing, and there you go. So anyhow, that's an overview of the computer itself. I think I should set it up, plug it in, and we should see what's on here, because supposedly I'm going to get a laugh out of this. Dude, I wonder what you're going to put me through. Okay, I've got the Packard Bell set up down there. Let's see if I can... Helps a little bit, but not really. I got the Packard Bell set up down here. It's a complete mess down here. I really need to reorganize this at some point. Put the... move the power cables around and get the surge protectors where they need to be, yada yada yada. But I just wanted to get this up to show it to you guys. So I have the KVM connected to A. I need to get cables so I can hook up B, which I'm planning to make the Leo. So yeah, there you have it. Let's boot up this Packard Bell and see what's going on here. .100 megahertz Pentium, 48. Wait, does this have 48 megs of RAM in it? 50 megs, whatever it is. Holy crap! It's a lot of RAM, man. Sorry about the flicker. It's a CRT. What are you gonna do? It's acting a little weird. There it goes. I have speakers turned on, by the way. Windows 95. As it should be. Windows 7? Windows 7? Ah, man. This Packard Bell is made possible by my utilities. That's great. What else is here? My Packard Bell piece of crap. That's nice. Here's the mail that never fails. Oh man. Decycle bin. Install Windows Antivirus 2005. 28.8 Master Race. Fageline. Read this first. Me. And ridiculous buttons for Windows 95. I know who put that there. Alright, since I have to read this first, let's check it out. Well, what do you know? I'm back! Congratulations on the purchase of a legendary Packard Bell Legend 822 CDT. You now own an example of my childhood computer. Even if it's a different motherboard, have a nice day and remember to use my utilities. And use this computer on the left and on the right. There's references to like everybody's YouTube page now. Well, I certainly will enjoy this roadgeek. What a fantastic machine this has been so far. Oh, that says Decycle Bun. Wow. Yeah, Video San Frontier, I have nothing but you to blame for that one. So, what is ridiculous buttons for Windows 95? I'm curious. Wait! It's Pilot Mountain in North Carolina. That's great. Fageline's the briefcase. 28.8 is MSN Internet. Windows Antivirus 2005 is Internet Explorer. The Decycle Bun is the recycle bin. Here's the mail that never fails, of course, is, well, you know, it's the mail. My Packard Bell, piece of crap. I wonder... It's Windows 95A, it looks like. It doesn't say B on it, so maybe it is. Your mother! Has 48 megs of RAM in it, so that's pretty cool. What else we got in here? Cirrus Logic video. That's what we like. Packard Bell sound card. Pretty generic, right? EISA direct memory access control. Wow, it's an EISA DMA controller. That's interesting. Not much else to see there, I guess. I wonder what... Oh, he must have done something. Let's see what the screensaver's set to. Oh, there is no screensaver. 256 colors. The background, of course, is Peter Norton. Did he change the sounds? Well, I know he did. Oh, no. Asterisk is this. It's trying to play it.
Zombies!
Oh, that's me!
Zombies!
That's AOL! Exclamation.
I am a man!
Exit window. Oh no.
I don't have time for you! File's done.
Ah! Bill, as roadgeek used to get scared of that noise from what he's told me.
Goodbye.
This has got to be the most nostalgic noise in the world. Yeah. Kerchunk. Wow. They call that Kerchunk? Why? Windows 7. For the startup noise.
Welcome.
Oh yeah, AOL is there. What's emptying the recycle bin? Just ding. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh wow. Hey, special software installed. Let's see. My utilities. And of course it's Norton stuff. Yeah. Bunch of CD stuff here. Looks like I got a lot of software to install, but so far this machine is working great. I'm pretty happy with it. So, that is a first look at the Packard Bell Legend 822 CDT. If you want ridiculous detail about it, go check out roadgeek's YouTube channel. I'll have a link in the description. He's the one that sold me this computer, and he's our neighborhood Packard Bell guy. And Video San Frontier is our neighborhood compact guy. So, they had a hand in this. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That made me laugh. I like that. I had a stupid grin on my face the whole time. So let's shut this off.
I don't have time for you!
The hard drive is named Bash. Yeah. One last thing I'll demonstrate with this Packard Bell 822 is the DOS capabilities. It has the stock sound card in it, which is an Aztec card that generally does well with DOS games because it uses Sound Blaster Pro hardware. OPL, I think it's OPL 3. So let's try Duke 2. Duke Nukem 2 seems to be the best way to test this because what Duke Nukem 2 has is it has ad-lib sounds, and it has it uses ad-lib for the music, and it uses Sound Blaster for the sound effects. It basically lets you. This for me is a measure of how compatible your DOS sound card is. If you don't have the Sound Blaster sound effects, which is usually what happens, you're pretty much SOL and have to use a different sound card. And you have to start the game to set it up too, so. There's your ad-lib music. There's your Sound Blaster sound effects. And that's how you know everything works. That's all you need to know. In your game options, it uses 3 different types. You can use PC speaker, or you can use Sound Blaster and ad lib sounds. And both of those are working, so DOS games should be no problem on this particular sound card. I've heard people talk about certain Aztec sound cards that come with the Packard Bells having chips that are just less than ideal for DOS, but it seems like these ones from the mid-90s are just fine, as long as they have the Sound Blaster hardware on them. And even some of the earlier Packard Bell sound cards had Sound Blaster hardware on them, so as long as it has that, it should be fine. I just wanted to demonstrate that. This is mostly what this machine's going to be doing. It's going to be here for DOS stuff. And one other thing, too. I'm keeping it on Windows 95 RTM because there's one particular game I like that doesn't work well with anything with 95B, C, OSR2, any of that. And that's 3D Ultra Pinball. It just plain doesn't work. You get, well, it works, but you get a bunch of graphical artifacting. If I demonstrate that here on 95 RTM, as you can see up there, it's RTM. If I go to my Windows games folder here, I just have 3D Ultra Pinball here. It will work. If it doesn't freeze or lag or something. Yeah. So if I start a pinball game here, it should look just fine. Yeah, see? This actually looks like a game. It doesn't look like a graphical mess like it does on some other computers I have. My Packard Bell Legend 3540, which has 95B on it, and the Leo here, which also has 95B on it, you end up with a bunch of horizontal lines all over the place, which makes the game basically unplayable to me. This works perfectly fine. Like, this is the way that 3D Ultra Pinball is supposed to look. This is an extremely buggy game, so you kind of have to work your computer around the game. Oh, that's nice. And as I was talking about bugs there, when you're as nostalgic as I am for that game in particular, it's worth it. Of course, I'm nostalgic for the Mac version, but, you know, whatever. But anyway, this is the Packard Bell Legend 822. This is a fantastic computer. I've had it for a couple days so far, and it's I have nothing but good things to say about this particular one. Mostly because it has the Hillary board in it. That board seems to be very easy to work with. You don't really have to babysit the machine at all, it just works. And this should be a good DOS machine for a long time. So thank you very much, roadgeek. This is an excellent, excellent machine. I won't be getting rid of this anytime soon, I'll tell you that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There is more vintage computer goodness to come. This is just the first of but a few. We'll be taking a look at more of that pretty soon. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.